fall 1951, you go to Seattle to visit your parents. You hitch a ride back. You've been drafted for the army. You're on a bomber, and the plane starts to go down and down and down. What was going through your mind, and what happened?
That's a long time ago. What was going through my mind was just stark fear, stark terror. Because first place, I didn't know anything about aviation at that particular time. I was just hopping a ride. In those days, you could, as a GI, which I was in the service, you could wear your uniform and get a free flight on any other branch of the service. So if you went, if I went out to the naval base in Monterey, which I did at that time, and I took a flight to Seattle, I could go for free. So I sat in the back. I got up there, and on the way back, they didn't have a plane. They had one plane, a Douglas AD, sort of a torpedo bomber of the World War II vintage, and they were going back to Alameda, so I thought I'd hitch on that. Everything went wrong. Radios went out, oxygen ran out, and they finally, the pilot flew it around for quite a while, and we ran out of fuel up around Point Reyes, California, and went in the ocean. So we went swimming. It was a tough time of year in November, and I think it was November, late October, November, something. Very cold water. I found out many years later that it was a white shark breeding ground, but I'm glad I didn't know that at the time, or I'd just died just had apoplexy or something.
Were you afraid you'd die?
No, I just thought in the back of my mind was, well, some people have made through these things, so maybe we'll have a luck. And when we hit the water, and the water, I felt much more comfortable, because in the air, the sound of the engine not running was very disconcerting.
How did you imagine your life at that point? You hadn't started acting. You came from a fairly modest family. How did you look ahead and imagine what you'd be doing?
No, I didn't. After I got out of the service, I went to world famous Los Angeles City College, and I came down here, and I was going to Los Angeles City College, and someone suggested I go to an acting class in the evening, and I said, oh, I don't know about that. I did a play once when I was in high school, and I always vowed I'd never do it again, and then it was actually junior high school.
Do you remember what the play was?
No, it was a one-act play, and I can't remember it for the life of me. It was supposed to be a comedy, and it was funny, I'm afraid, in all the wrong places. But anyway, we did it, and then finally I went to these acting classes there, and I met some people, and a cinematographer at Universal years ago named Irving Glassberg called me up and said who I'd met, and he had we talked about sports and swimming and all that kind of stuff. And he finally said, he called me up and said, we're at the last day of a picture. And then the last day of a picture, if you'll come out, I'll just shoot some film on you. And nobody will know the difference, and then you can see what you look like and all that kind of thing. So he shot some film on me, and I looked at it a couple of days later. It was awful. When you know how it is when you first hear yourself on tape. Well, it's just twice as bad when you see yourself, and you keep saying, what's the matter with this guy? Why did he move? I mean, jolt, So you get very critical, and then, but finally, somebody did offer me a contract, and I was a contract player out there for a year and a half at $75 a week, which actually you would laugh about now, maybe, but you could live on that.